One of the biggest pieces that David just talked about was fragmentation and these different pieces of online marketing that kind of converging. So a few years back, you would have just search. People go to Google, Yahoo, whatever, search. That was the area at which they were getting all their information. So how are you being found? In what I do, we're all online, offline marketing for Rosetta. So this is very marketing, how consumers are finding you, how you can be found by consumers, how are you interacting with customers in these various mediums. So this is an example. Well done on the coloring here. This is not what it looked like, but it looks much better this way. So this is a real example of how consumers actually found one of our clients to make a purchase. And so you can kind of see the big wheel of social, organic local, paid search rate tables, display retargeting, regular display, direct traffic to the site, mobile, affiliates. Those are just all the options at which consumers today can find you, where previously it might have just been search to that point, or maybe search affiliates or direct traffic. In this example, somebody came through Facebook, clicked through the website, came back through AdWords, clicked on a branded and paid search ad, saw 3 banner ads, then came back, clicked 4 times in email, and then came back and searched on organic and came back and made a purchase. So who the hell in that situation actually influenced and made the purchase? I mean, who takes credit for that? How did someone find you and get to the site? It's a lot more convoluted in terms of how you're being found and how that consumer finds you than ever before. And this is just one example, and you can imagine there are just thousands and thousands of different ways people come back to find you. So one of the ways that we track this at Rosetta is in 3 major buckets, which is introducer, influencer, and closer. So if we just think about all those interactions and touch points and bring them together, if it was the very first touch point, it's an introducer. If it's anywhere in the middle, it's an influencer, and if it's the last thing, it's a closer. And so we broke it down into these basic buckets: Facebook, Twitter, Google paid search, organic search, direct and affiliate. And you can see the biggest pieces of introducing new consumers to make a purchase were Twitter, 4 points better than Facebook, and paid search, 28%. The highest of finding new people, someone searching for car insurance, someone searching for boots. They may not know what they're looking for as indicated by the search results, and those are getting new people to your website, so that becomes important. Affiliate, as you can see, 5%, the lowest. It's usually someone, if they're coming through an affiliate channel, they're already aware of what they're doing and what they're looking for. So then we pop over to the influencer bucket, and you see, I think these boxes are one off, but it doesn't matter. So you see Twitter, 135% influencer, Facebook, 39%, much higher than organic and direct traffic, much lower. People, once they get to the site, they're around doing their research, they come back and they use these mediums to understand what their friends are saying, what other people are saying, get opinions about what they're actually in market to do prior to coming back and making a purchase. And you can see direct traffic, in terms of direct type traffic, just 2% of those things are happening in between. If someone knows what they really want, it's not that in-between touch point, it's much more direct to making the conversion. And then the last bucket is one-step closes, just how many people use these mediums and actually know what they want and make a purchase right away. And you can see that on the paid and organic side, 64% direct traffic, 66% no. Right there, they're gonna go in and make a purchase much higher than affiliate traffic and even Facebook and Twitter, where those people are, again, using those things to inform their decisions as they think about what they're gonna make purchases. So just something to consider. These are all, as we showed in the previous example, very important paths to making conversion and ways consumers feel about your brands as they make a purchase, but not operating in a silos. Each one of these numbers would be different if you strip away completely anything else that you're doing online and those different touch points. Okay, so one of those biggest touch points is mobile, right? It continues to drive almost everything that we do, and a huge shift that we talked about. This is, I would call this Captain Obvious slide. Whatever, as phones go up, usage of smartphones go out, and you can see it kind of overlaid with how many were just with the iPhone all the way through to the Droid X. So this is just through July. Obviously that spike would continue going forward. So yeah, okay, great, mobile's going up. That's exciting. So location-based targeting, mobile payment and mobile tactics. So there's so much to talk about here. I try to just break it down to these basic 3 areas. One, location-based targeting. There are offers that are occurring in all places that you'll see. Google's has launched one. Name's escaping me. I'm sure someone knows it, but Facebook, Goala, Facebook Places, all are having offers within a local area. So you're walking around, you have a place, you have offers. How does your company, when you think about location-based and what type of business you are, how do you leverage that information, whether someone knows specifically what they're looking for or not, is very, very critical. And we're seeing, in terms of mobile usage and search, in Get Directions, which you have the option in both desktop and mobile, a 6% click-through rate in Get Directions on mobile devices and a sub 1% Get Direction on desktops. So again, the motivation, you have to think about the motivation of what consumers have. That's a significant difference, that click-through rate, versus just the basic desktop search, and how people are consuming media is very, very different. Click-to-call is another example, again, and how people use the medium. You don't use the same creative, you don't use the same touch points and the ways they interact, so you need to not only think about your marketing plan holistically, but also tactic-specific as you drive out those creatives. Mobile payment is just a way in which, if I could get rid of my wallet, I could. This can't come fast enough as far as I'm concerned. But again, it's another way that incents people to have that device on them at all times and think about the way in which they're using it. People are also buying a lot of stuff online. One of the craziest things from our Q4 holiday, we do business with Hickory Farms. They sold over 400 cheese and sausage gift baskets on mobile devices. 400, and that's just from a couple terms, like Hickory Farms and Hickory Farms gift basket. I wish I was sitting next to one of those people watching them make that purchase. What type of situation that's in to say, I need a sausage and cheese gift basket right now. That would just been great. But those people are sifting their way through that and making those experiences because they not only have to, it's experience, it's what they have with them, they're comfortable making those things. And we see people filling out mortgage applications, we see people car insurance applications, buying stationery. Every client that we have on the roster has had at least 2 to 3 mobile conversions happen. And some of these applications and processes to get through to a conversion event are ridiculous. So people are it doesn't have to necessarily be easy. People are fighting through it to get it because it's convenient in what they have. Okay, so if you think about everyone in this room and you think about AdWords or even organic search, the rules essentially are the same. Everyone in here has broad match, phrase match, exact match. Everyone can pretty much do the same thing. So in my perspective, the way in which anyone can do better than someone else is have data and insight above and beyond your competitors and take action against it. So this is one example of how we think about that in terms of what I was talking about earlier of introducer, influencer, closer. On its own, paid search 131 applications, halo effect, all those other things that it touched and influenced drive out another, 400, 300 applications that complete 503 total applications. So we're trying to think about how these pieces interact with one another, what happens when you pull one out, put one in, what's the multiplicative effect of having all these things in place. And if you understand that media mix that you have, and competitor X down the street doesn't, I think that's an advantage and something that you need to think about how you understand and how you put it into market. Lead refers, direct visits. You can see all these things and how they compound one another when they think about the total mix of business. 2 other things, I guess, to think about. This is revenue changes last click versus attribution. So if you only think about it in last click, you might get $100. If you think about an attribution, the scale shows how much it gave away or added to that source if you think about it last click versus attribution. So the 2s that are negative are direct and natural, meaning if they just operate in this overall world, they actually have less importance than what you think they do from a direct or from an attribution standpoint, where PPC, affiliate, and display banner ads have a significant impact when you think about what they add to the overall mix together. So something to certainly, again, consider. We're talking about, in this example, an extra $15,000 of credit assigned to banner advertising when thinking about it from an attribution standpoint. So that's a significant number overall, and it's important to think about those differences and how people are, again, consuming media. This is a look at post impression views. So you'll hear a lot of people talk about banner advertising and think about it more than just brand building. I think that's true. I also think you have to consider the view-through window and how long it actually has an impact to someone. This example here would say that the impact drop off significantly after just 3 hours of after seeing a banner ad. So we have clients where that number is very different, 7 days, 14 days. But if we were thinking about this specific client in a 14-day window of view-through, and it's actually 3 hours, that's a really big difference in terms of how we operationalize media and execute it. And so understanding that, where, again, someone down the street doesn't understand that and they think about it 14 days, makes a big difference in terms of how we execute media and how we think we do a better job than someone else, and that's the way in which we win. And again, that it goes back to the consumer consumption of media and how that's changed over time. I don't expect that our window to be 3 hours. If we have different creative, we have a different placement or a different broader media mix in play, I think that number will be different, and I want to benchmark it consistently so we understand how these things are changing over time.